You're entering the Wind Tunnel, your home for real motorsports conversation. Wind Tunnel is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR. Here's your Wind Tunnel host, Jackaroo.
Welcome inside the Wind Tunnel. Now this week, I'm going to introduce you to two individuals at opposite ends of the racing spectrum. One just captured the NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Series National Rookie of the Year honors. And the other, well, he's logged more than 50 years in the sport, rising from a wrench tuner for legends like Butch Lindley, Bill Elliott, and even Richard Petty, to now commanding a racing enterprise that includes dirt and asphalt late models, trucks, a chassis company, as well as a two-car NASCAR Cup Series operation. You'll meet both of them this week, but first,
I know I'm not 100% in my ability to go out and race at the top level of the NASCAR Cup Series. These are the best of the best drivers, and lately I haven't felt my best. The doctors have come to the conclusion that it's best for me to shut it down for this season. And even though I've made solid gains and I've been working with all the top specialists and the team at Toyota Performance Center, I'm still not 100% and I'm still not cleared to race. As I continue to focus on my health towards being cleared, I'll be stepping away from full-time NASCAR Cup Series competition in 2023.
that was Kurt Busch holding a press conference this past Saturday at his home track, the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The former Daytona 500 and Cup Series champion suffered a concussion this summer at Pocono.
Hang on to it, Kurt. Hard into the wall.
Wow. That was a hard hit for that right rear quarter panel, and you see the damage.
Swung around and hit the front pretty hard as well.
Yeah, that hurts every time.
And has been on the injured list ever since. I'll have more on Kurt and his legacy later in this episode. NASCAR's Xfinity Series hosted their first race in the round of 8 playoffs, and a former bank teller from Tennessee cashed in and punched his ticket to the championship finale in Phoenix.
So A.J. Allmendinger, Trevor Bayne leading this 38-car field down to the stripe and the green flag. It is waving. We're underway at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Allmendinger with a push from Ty Gibbs will lead the train to turn 1.
Bayne keeps that car in the bottom, and he gets sideways, has to scoot to the bottom of the apron. He'll control that race car at the exit of turn 2, but Pat, it stacks up down the backstretch.
Wow, that was some great driving by a whole lot of faster cars, and it really has separated the top 2 now as we watch A.J. Allmendinger and Noah Gragson. It's a long ways back to third and the rest of the field.
As he comes down to the line, Ty Gibbs will lead 22 of the 45 laps in stage number 1 to win the opening stage of the Alsco Uniforms 302.
Ty Gibbs on the bottom, Austin Hill in the middle, Noah Gregson's going topside. They are 3 wide on a turn 2 for the race lead.
Back in March, Noah Gregson won both stages. Today, he wins stage number 2.
Going to be a battle for the lead. Here comes Josh Berry. He goes right to the bumper of the leader, and they work the top side of the racetrack. Berry now tries to go to the outside of Brandon Jones. He wants to lead all 4.
Josh Berry, your defending race winner, is able to take the lead. He clears Brandon Jones and now starts to pull away at the start-finish line.
AJ getting ready to feel the heat from Josh Berry in the 8 as he takes a look to the outside. All these cars at the bottom of the racetrack. Josh Berry wants the lead. AJ Allmendinger's got it. They'll get side by side on 4.
Allmendinger blocks Berry. Berry bounces off the wall. They are absolutely door to door as they go to 1.
Josh Berry's been able to get the advantage. Allgaier almost gives him a little shot in the rear bumper. Now Josh Berry out front all by himself into 1.
Josh Berry takes the race lead at the stripe. Justin Allgaier working the top side, letting that Brandt car slide up the racetrack, trying to get second from A.J. Allmendinger off of 2.
Well, A.J. Allmendinger has been complaining that the car was really, really loose, and they said, no, it's up to you. It's up to you. Almost insinuated it was in his mind, but they said if it gets worse, it's this set of tires. He said, I can't handle it anymore. So he's coming down pit road. They're going to change the tires.
Meanwhile, Noah Gregson has bounced off the wall.
Josh Berry sets up for turn number 1. The advantage stays strong at about 12 to 15 car lengths. He and Gregson will both run the top as third place running Justin Allgaier goes to the bottom. Junior Motorsports, Pat, looking for a 1-2-3 finish.
What a race for Josh Berry here at Vegas once again. He's the man that's going to go to the pay window if he can just guide it through 2 more turns. Josh Berry going to punch his ticket to Phoenix off of turn 4.
Josh Berry coming to the front straightaway. He will go to the championship round as he defends his win in the Alsco Uniforms 302.
I'm just so proud of these guys. We struggled a little bit yesterday, but I just had a good feeling about the car. I thought it drove good. Made a couple mistakes, and then, man, the car was so good, especially for like the first half of the run. It was super, super fast. We were able to just have some amazing restarts there and get some track position and luckily hold on to it to the end.
Then on Sunday, it was the Cup Series turn to see if one of their round of 8 playoff drivers could hit the express lane to Phoenix.
Start your engines.
Crank them up, Gabe. Crank them up.
Green flag is in the air. To the inside, it's Tyler Reddick. He is flanked on the outside by Austin Cindric. Side by side, they roll into one.
Bubba Wallace wants the lead. He gets door to door now. He can look right out the right side, and he can see the guy he's trying to pass, and he makes that pass. Moves Suarez back a spot. Bubba Wallace, new leader off 4.
Car sliding down the front stretch. It's Kyle Busch. He gets off in the grass. The car slides around again. This puts the wraps on stage 1 as the flagman waves both the yellow and the green and white checkered flag. Bubba Wallace picks up the stage win. Joey Logano second. Daniel Suarez third.
Suarez getting pushed by his teammate Ross Chastain. It's one whale of a push. He'll allow Suarez to clear Hamlin for the race lead.
Chastain goes right up next to the wall. He'll try to get the run off the hill, but it's not going to be enough to hold Blaney off. New leader.
Ryan Blaney now working his way out of turn 4 down across the stripe. He takes the green and white checkered flag. His 8th stage win of 2022. That is a series-leading 8 stage wins.
Logano out in front, but man, it is a madhouse behind him right now. 3 wide at the bottom. Blaney, Hamlin, and Chastain trying to sort it out for second.
They are stacked up behind that 2-car battle. Austin Cindric now going down to the bottom across the apron of the racetrack at the start-finish line. Chase Briscoe now will split him and Truex and move up 2 spots.
Penske Ford's battling for the lead. They almost touch on the exit of 4th. Give it to Logano. He's got the high line, and he chops off the nose of Ryan Blaney.
The 24 machine of William Byron skids sideways, chases it up the racetrack, made contact with Ryan Blaney. They both stay out of the wall, but it looks like Eric Almirola and Denny Hamlin are going to take advantage. Trouble in turn 2, guys. Ryan Blaney just watched it up the racetrack, slapped the wall. Now he spins off of turn number 2, slides it down to the racetrack, and hits the inside wall.
3 laps to go, and we may have 4 cars battling for the race win. Side by side at the stripe. Give the advantage to Chastain by just inches. They stay that way into 1.
Logano able to hang right on that left rear of Ross Chastain across the start-finish line. It gives him the advantage on the bottom. Joey Logano slides up in front of Ross Chastain down the backstretch.
New leader off of turn number 2, now down the backstretch. Here's Chastain to the outside. Logano has got the lead, but Kyle Busch is not giving up. He is coming as hard as he can off 4.
Joey Logano out of turn 4, down across the stripe. Just 2 laps left for Logano to hold on to the top spot.
Does Ross Chastain have anything for him? Does Kyle Busch have something left in the tank? They all go to the top side of the racetrack, entering turn number 1. Joey Logano now carts it to the middle of the racetrack. That 22 car shoots out of the second corner.
Kyle Busch has still got time, and he's got the motivation to get it done this afternoon as they race into turn 3. Here comes Busch. He's first got to get by Chastain. Right now, though, Logano begins to stretch it out.
Joey Logano is 1 lap away from his 3rd win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway as he flashes under the white flag for the last time.
Ross Chastain's got to find those 4 car lengths behind Joey Logano. Kyle Busch about 2 car lengths behind Chastain. Here comes Joey Logano out of turn number 2, Pat, for the final time.
Joey Logano down the Nellis straightaway as he works his way into turn 3. It's 306 miles from the Las Vegas finish line to the start line at Phoenix, and Joey Logano is going to punch his ticket.
Joey Logano coming out of turn 4, nothing but clear racetrack ahead. From the round of 8 to the final 4 at Phoenix, Joey Logano wins the South Point 400.
It's a huge advantage for the rest of the playoffs. The next 2 weeks, don't have to worry about a thing besides racing for a championship and just about Phoenix at this point. So this is the best possible situation you can put yourself in for the next 2 weeks. Gives us a huge advantage. We just got to use it.
Now, during that race, Kyle Larson and Bubba Wallace tangled.
Larson and Bubba Wallace touch on the exit of 4. Wallace into the wall. Larson dives down to the apron. They crash. Larson spins into the wall, and so does Bubba Wallace in a hard crash.
And once the cars came to a stop, Wallace expressed his feelings to Larson in no uncertain terms.
Bubba walked up to him, put his arms out like, what the heck happened? And then he gave Kyle Larson a big shove that actually knocked Kyle Larson back into his car.
This past Tuesday, after a review of the incident, NASCAR handed down their stiffest penalty in more than 7 years, suspending Bubba Wallace for this weekend's race at Homestead Miami Speedway.
You know, our actions are really specific to what took place on the racetrack. And when we look at, you know, how that incident occurred, you know, in our minds, you know, really a dangerous act. We thought that was intentional and put other competitors at risk. And, you know, as we look at the sport and where we are today and where we want to draw that line going forward, we thought that, you know, definitely crossed the line. And that's what we focused on in terms of making this call. You know, we believed that it was a heat of the moment action that took place, and you know, I think you saw through Bubba's statement. I believe it was yesterday. If you had to do that all over again, I think maybe it would be a different circumstance. I think we understand that, you know, it's a dangerous sport, and drivers are out there. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot on the line. Everybody's racing their guts out, which is awesome for the sport. It's never been better in terms of that. But in this case, you know, we just felt it crossed the line, and we really had to react because it's an action that we don't want to see going forward. And I know fans and people like to compare, well, you know, the what ifs or what happened in the past. And for us, this was a reaction based on, you know, what took place Sunday and what we don't want to see going forward in races that take place from the competitors, and want to draw that line and be as clear as we can for our competitors of where we stand.
So there you have it. Now you're caught up on all the action, both on and off the track. So let's get to our guest, shall we? First up is a Canadian who's been wheeling dirt modifieds for more than a dozen years. But when Autodrome Granby and RPM Speedway joined NASCAR's Advanced Auto Parts weekly series this season, this veteran earned National Rookie of the Year honors. I'll visit with Steve Bernier when he takes this week's Advanced Auto Parts victory lap after this timeout.
Coming up, you'll meet this week's Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap guest after this message.
Hey, car lovers. At Advanced Auto Parts, we have what you need to keep your car running all season long. So if you enjoy getting ahead of the curve when it comes to taking care of your ride, Advanced Auto Parts has everything to keep your ride on track to reach the victory lap. Because you can trust the team at Advanced Auto Parts to assist you in finding what you need at the right price. Stop by Advanced Auto Parts, where you're always number one.
This is how we advance.
Man, this is for all those guys. There's a ton of them out there that are like me, that have won here and all these great short tracks around here. We can do it. We just need the opportunities. Today proved it. Yeah, it's a short track, but it's still damn hard to win here, and we did it.
They are hometown heroes, drivers who put their passion on the line in front of their friends.
Here we go, 3 wide, got Sellers up in the marble.
Halfway home in this one. Off turn 4, he heads for the checkered flag.
Side by side, Von Dorn across the line first.
Here comes Riggs. Riggs is back at it on the inside.
Buckle up and hold on tight.
Time now to focus the spotlight on hometown heroes with this week's Advanced Auto Parts Victory Lap. Brought to you by the NASCAR Advanced Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series. Driving local racing in local communities forward.
Bernier qui vient challenger Hébert à l'extérieur, mais Hébert conserve l'avantage. Très solide à l'intérieur alors que ça roule bien dans le peloton. Sans à décroche dans le premier virage. Frankie Boy, François Bernier, loin à l'extérieur, au départ d'Hébert. Oh, devant l'estrade. Hébert par un nez, là, devant Bernier qui accentue la pression.
Well, taking a unique victory lap today on Wind Tunnel is a man that, well, he's been at this for quite some time. But thanks to his 2 primary speedways, Autodrome Granby, and RPM Speedway, joining the Advanced Auto Parts NASCAR Series in 2022. He ended up being considered a rookie. Steve Bernier joins us, the Advanced Auto Parts National Rookie of the Year. And to help us out, because they are French-Canadian, is the owner of both Autodrome Granby and RPM Speedway, Dominic Lussier. Dominic, I want to start with you. Did you ever in your wildest dreams think that Steve was going to be awarded a Rookie of the Year title with as many victories as he's had on your dirt tracks throughout his career?
No, it was something very special, or something we didn't thought before starting our history with NASCAR. Steve won in the past 132 feature win, and being new with NASCAR, all those guys was considered as a rookie. So they all battle for the rookie, whatever, if it was national championship or regional championship. So Steve got the championship. It was a close battle, but I think it was something we kind of laughed because it was we didn't expect like a 20-some season guy to win a rookie title.
So, Steve, I'm interested, adding Rookie of the Year to all of your championships, does that remind you to stay forever young?
Steve, Jake, il veut savoir si d'avoir gagné un championnat de recrues, si ça t'amène à vouloir rester jeune longtemps.
Oui, je pense que d'un, c'était drôle un petit peu le fait de se battre pour la recrue de l'année cette année. Mais tant mieux si ça peut tenir mon cœur jeune encore une couple d'années pour avoir la passion des courses.
Yeah, Steve hope it's gonna keep him young to be able to I've got that championship, and it was fun to battle to get that championship for sure. Like there were money, I think it's a big award to go to the NASCAR banquet that will be in Indianapolis this year. So yeah, fun thing for Steve, and it may keep him with a young spirit at least.
Steve, what's been the key to your success behind the wheel of that dirt modified?
C'est quoi le secret que tu as eu pour gagner toutes ces courses-là puis ces championnats-là avec ton modifié?
Premièrement, ça s'est fait en équipe avec mon frère. Mais de deux, je pense que c'est vraiment l'acharnement au travail, puis la compréhension de la voiture, puis du sport.
Steve is involved in racing on dirt track for at least 20 years. I think to get all those successes with his team, Steve had the chance to race with and against his brother, which is another top runner at our racetrack. So they team up trying to improve both car and both their season. They are both known as a hard work driver. They know their car. They work very hard to improve their car. It's not those guys are not the easiest for a racetrack promoter or owner, but for sure hard work is a key.
Dominic, owning two racetracks and having been my family owning a half-mile track, Stafford Speedway, for almost 50 years now. It's not something that you do to make a lot of money. It's something that you do because you have a passion for the sport. So how did this all come about for you? You know, as if double your trouble, double your fun, two racetracks that you operate there in Canada, north of the border.
Yeah, I think when we took those decisions, I was younger. I was 30 for the first racetrack and maybe 32, 33 for the second one. I think I was crazy. For sure, it's a passion. I've been racing myself from '88 to 2009. Race against Steve few times those years, and I had the opportunity to buy Autodrome Granby, the first track. Didn't know at all what it was how difficult or challenging it was to own a racetrack and make driver happy, fan happy, and find our way to do that and be happy on our side. When we bought RPM Speedway, like a few years after, I think it's 3 years, our thought was that it's going to be easier, not that much more difficult to get a second track, because there's many things we do one place that will be done at the other one. We forgot that we would work 40 Friday and Saturday night during the summer, and all the preparation before the event, during the event, after the event was a stressy thing, and it would take a bunch of time. We're lucky we have many a good race team, like a good crowd that is coming to see those guys on the track. We find our way to get some fun to do it. For sure, it's not our first way of getting money to live. We have I own a GM dealership. I have two very good partners that help me like in building those events and making those show happen. So still very much passionate about doing it. Every summer that is ending, we're getting like a few day or a few weeks to rest, and then start back the scheduling, and I'll get for sure some time with our top team and listening to what they want us to improve. And that's part of our living for the last 13 years.
So Steve, now that you're part of the NASCAR group, do you have NASCAR aspirations? Would you like to give it a try in a truck or an Xfinity series, something like that? Or are you strictly, I'm going to stay on dirt and I'm going to run my modified and I'm just going to win championships?
Le fait qu'on soit NASCAR, tu as compris la question?
Ouais, je pense que ce serait le fun d'essayer une voiture sur l'asphalte, peut-être au Canada, là, dans les séries qui courent avec nous. Je serais curieux de voir ce que je suis capable de faire sur l'asphalte. Mais écoute, on excelle tellement sur le dirt que c'est sûr qu'on va continuer à encore s'améliorer et à gagner encore plus de titres NASCAR avec les voitures dirt. Là. Mais oui, c'est de quoi qui me chicote un petit peu.
I know Steve's story. So like he did some race on pavement in a dwarf car beginning of the I think end of 1990 or beginning of 2000. For sure, to bring NASCAR back here on not back, but to bring NASCAR on our dirt track, open our eyes and Steve's eyes to what's happening on pavement. There's some curiosity about driving like a pavement car. We're working to get the Pinty's Canadian NASCAR series on dirt, but they we know many teams that owns car, so Steve would be curious to run one, but their team is so involved in dirt racing and modified racing that his focus will stay with what we're doing right now and our NASCAR sanctioned track on dirt.
Well, I would love to see the Pinty series on dirt. I would give anything to see Tagliani and some of those other knuckleheads try to tackle dirt and be as good as Steve is, and it would certainly give him the home field advantage. Listen, you two, it's just absolutely amazing the reach that auto racing has, and we here in the United States underserve our Canadian brethren because I grew up in the Northeast. I know just how strong, Canadians just love their racing. And especially when COVID-19 hit, there were an awful lot of them that couldn't go and enjoy stateside racing. We couldn't go north to Canadian Motorsports Park. It's now, thank heavens, the borders are open again. And I'm looking forward to maybe getting up to Autodrome or RPM because I love the modifieds on dirt. And I would love to see Steve win yet another championship. Steve, I appreciate your visiting with us. Congratulations on your championship and Rookie of the Year. And Dominic, it's good to have you in the family. Welcome to the world of NASCAR.
Hey, thank you very much.
You've been listening to the Advance Auto Parts Victory Lap, brought to you by the NASCAR Advance Auto Parts Weekly Racing Series, driving local racing in local communities forward. There's more wind tunnel headed your way after this timeout.
Hey, car lovers! At Advance Auto Parts, we have what you need to keep your car running all season long. So if you enjoy getting ahead of the curve when it comes to taking care of your ride, Advance Auto Parts has everything to keep your ride on track to reach the victory lap. Because you can trust the team at Advance Auto Parts to assist you in finding what you need at the right price. Stop by Advance Auto Parts, where you're always number one.
This is how we advance.
Welcome back to your podcast home for motorsports conversation, Jackarook's Wind Tunnel.
Well, entering the wind tunnel is a long time, friend, and the guy that climbed up the NASCAR ladder, starting at the very lowest rung. I watched him through his entire career, and now he commands both GMS and petty GMS on the trucks and the Cup side. We're talking about Mike Beam. Mike, it's so great to catch up with you. How have you been?
Good, Jack. I hope you are.
Yeah, I've been well, having fun with this Wind Tunnel podcast series and trying to help our listeners better understand how guys like you get bitten with a passion early on, and then you work so hard to make it your career. How long, Mike, have you been at this?
50.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, 51, really. I'll be 67 in December. Yeah. Yeah. It's been 50 years this year. So I started in 72. Yeah. God.
Did you ever imagine that A, you'd be at it this long, but more importantly, B, that you would rise to, outside of maybe driving a race car, probably one of the most important or at least influential positions, and that's running a race team, and not running one, running two.
Actually, we got 6, but yeah, between our ARCA car and everything else. But yeah, it's Jack, you've done it for a long time, and I'm really very blessed that I've done it. Had some really good people to teach me, just like I was doing some for MRN this morning. I told them that, just like I had Junior Johnson to help me, right? To teach me how to run a race team, treat people, and you always take experiences away from situations you've been in, what you wouldn't do, what I would do. And luckily at this point in my life and career, I'm able to exercise. I mean, it's got to be such big business, but I still keep it, I don't know, I keep it pretty simple, try to anyway. But that's hard to do, but still we keep it pretty simple. I still try to do stuff. I mean, we have contracts and stuff, but I tell people, I made a deal today with the crew chief. We shook hands on it. I said, well, we'll get a contract here eventually, but let's just shake hands on it. We're good. So, that's how I try to do it, but I'm a dinosaur. It seems like everybody wants paper and agreements. And it's like, dang, man, how come we just can't shake hands and call it good and everybody do what they're supposed to? So it's a challenge, but it's fine. I mean, I still love it. Just like you, I'll never get out of our blood. And, so it's good times for sure.
Mike, is the main thread, though, the same thread that you and I experienced in the 70s and the 80s? Is it still that passion, that abiding passion that you don't have to go to work? You're actually enjoying a dream job.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's, they're petty GMS for GMS. I got 140 employees, but we, between our trucks and our Cup cars, our ARCA car, and we got a couple dirt cars. We got other stuff that in my fab business is really taking off, building a lot of truck chassis and ARCA chassis and Xfinity stuff. But, I got some good people. We've been doing this for about 8 years now. And, but, Jack, it's still the same struggles. I mean, It is. Nothing's changed. It's just now you got social media, right? We can't fight. We can't fight like we used to. Now everybody's got a phone with a camera on it, right? So
yeah, there are certain elements to it where, guys, dinosaurs like me and you must find ourselves. We got to be a little careful. But the bottom line, Mike, in the position that you're in, what an incredible transition. You guys were at the very top in trucks, and I neglected the ARCA effort. But when you stepped together with Richard, who, by the way, you have a long-standing relationship with, when you and the King came together, did you imagine right from the drop of the hat that you'd end up putting a car as one of the winners in 2022 at the Cup level?
You always, you've seen it, you've done it, you always, that's why you do it, right? I mean, you always got to believe, you always got to have hope. I remember that, at Darlington there, me and my wife was sitting in our motorhome, and I've been to the pits. Richard been in the motorhome. It's such a struggle for him to go in the pits because he still gets bombarded like Elvis. And, you sit there, and about 10 to go, I said, oh my gosh, it's a real shot here, right? And it's like you just can't, it's a moment in time. You're sitting there and think, gosh, I just can't believe this is happening. Because I was telling Steve Post and Todd Gordon this morning that it was pretty cool that day that we won Darlington. It had been 50 years since Richard won. So in fact, Richard brought that up, him and Emmon sitting in the motorhome talking about it, right? I went, that's so cool.
Here he comes into the front stretch. And there's the flag that means one lap to go. Petty's still running full throttle, passing them where he finds them. Halfway up the backstretch, he can coast home from here. The Petty crew and everybody along the pit walls holding their breath. Here he comes. Richard Petty wins the Southern 500. There's the checkered flag for Cale Yarborough in second place, and Spencer, Petty's teammate, in third. Petty won going away. His margin of 5 laps is a Southern 500 record.
Then somebody texted me a picture. I think Phil Combs, a buddy of mine, sent me a picture that had been 28 years since Bill and I and Junior had won the Southern 500, Junior's last win.
45th annual Southern 500 comes to a close, and Bill Elliott takes the win as he waves to the crowd.
They're going to resurface this track. That's going to take some of the challenge out of it, perhaps, but obviously a lot of rubber coming up there.
I guarantee it won't take no challenge out of this place.
That was pretty special, of course. So, it's like a lot of emotions that when we won the race, for me being an old school guy, you couldn't have won a better race. Dak. It's like you're talking Darlington, right? You win Daytona, yeah, it's great, but you just couldn't. Besides winning Martinsville or something, just one of the old school races, you couldn't ask for better. It's just so cool to win that race, right? I got that Southern 500 trophy here somewhere, in my garage. That, it just come on. I gotta get my dog up here. Hey, Bristol. I got Bristol and Dover. I know it's okay. So winning the Southern 500 and sharing that with Richard and Dale, and it was pretty cool. So you couldn't have rode any better.
My conversation with Mike Bean continues after this timeout.
Hey, car lovers. At Advance Auto Parts, we have what you need to keep your car running all season long. So if you enjoy getting ahead of the curve when it comes to taking care of your ride, Advance Auto Parts has everything to keep your ride on track to reach the victory lap. Because you can trust the team at Advance Auto Parts to assist you in finding what you need at the right price. Stop by Advance Auto Parts, where you're always number one.
This is how we advance.
Welcome back to your podcast home for motorsports conversation, Jackaroot's Wind Tunnel.
I know you know this, but you have been so blessed with the people that mentored you. You mentioned the King. You mentioned Junior. Even the guys, the drivers that you've crewed with. How has all of that made Mike Beam a better human being?
Well, you take away, my time with Bill, and, you take, and just Sterling and just a lot of people, Mark and just Carl and stuff, you take away from all of it, and they're all really still good friends of mine. And, when we won the race, text messages from people and drivers that I've had before, and it's pretty special to experience that, right? I was talking to Lisa Johnson Jr.'s wife a couple weeks after that, and of course a lot of emotions for me that Junior's last win, and sharing that with him and all the crap we've gone through, and so it's pretty cool. I take away from all those years and all those experiences, people, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'll always be indebted to those people for, what they taught me and what I experienced and stuff. And, even Jack Roush, working for him, bringing me to the next level in engineering. And you take away from those deals and even the struggles and stuff, it made you a stronger person. So, Maury Gallagher, our owner, he loves racing, right? He loves the competition, and so he was here last year, and I took him over to Wilkesboro, over to the old shop, right, in Valhalla, and he told me, he said, "Man, you're getting pretty emotional about this. I said, you just don't understand. You was there a lot, and just there was nobody there." I said, you can still." I could still see Junior and us going over to the store with the dogs and stuff, right? Going to the pit stop across the street that's no longer there. And sometimes, me and my wife, I just can't believe how blessed I've been.
It's funny because when you bring up those memories, there's so much that is centered in Engleholler, and moments like when we needed to road test a car. We didn't go to Wilkesboro unless we had something really trick. We just ran it up the road.
Went it up the hollow there. Oh yeah, exactly. That was our test track. Oh yeah. So, I hate that we didn't have phones back then, right? Where we could video that stuff and take pictures. I was saying that my days working for Butch Lindley and Harry Gann on the late model sports and stuff, you barely had enough money to get in, much less, to take pictures. And but I will say one thing, I was at Stafford last year with Doug Kobe, and we won that SRX race, and that was pretty cool. I've read about, I've had all the stock car magazines. I read all the Bones's books and stuff, and Ronnie Bouchard and Bugsy and Richie and all those people, and winning that race at Stafford that night. I still got the SRX trophy. That was pretty cool.
Mike, you realize your streak's alive. Kobe is the only regular, the only, what did we call him? A ringer to come in and beat the very, very, very best.
Yeah. That was a special night. Kobe, he's become friends with him, and just such a special guy. To win that race that night, that was pretty cool. That was to sit there and, because I'm such a history buff, and I've read all about Bugsy and, Fred Nazaro, or, and all those cats. And Ed Flemke, I mean, just like I've seen all those people. I remember going to Martinsville for the Cardinal race and us drinking at the Dutch Inn, and I mean, all that stuff, right? And it's like, I thought about that. I mean, it's a lot of emotions that night at Stafford. Like, I just cannot believe that I was just part of something that won a race here at Stafford Springs. It's pretty dang cool.
I know you're in the middle of this chase for the championship. I know there's a lot of issues that are keeping you busy, and certainly it's been a wild first season for the next gen car, and it's only going to get better. But can you believe that right now we are counting down on one hand the number of races left in the season?
It's crazy, Jack. And we were talking about it today at the shop. Talk with Grant and Hensley and stuff. We kind of put Grant and Jeff in a box here this year, but you have those years, right? I said we can't. I tell the guys in my truck people, you can't expect to have 10 wins every year. You got to get over that. You need to enjoy it in the championships and stuff. You need to enjoy it. And I said, but when you go through this times right here, it makes you better. And I've done it, the highs and lows, but it's crazy. Here we are. And, we got, coming to Homestead this week, and you got Martinsville with the Cup car, then you got Phoenix, and it's over. And it's like, people don't really understand. Like I said, I was telling Steve Post and Todd this morning that this Petty GMS, we've only been in business for 10 months. That's insane. I mean, there's been so much work that those guys have done, Dave Ellens and Eric and all those guys on the 43 crowd and the 42 crowd, I mean, just insane the amount of work. And, this, I just can't, I mean, here it is October, and I was telling Nancy the other day, I said, gosh, I mean, of course, we'll be in Phoenix on our anniversary, 44 years, right? I mean, it's like, I still remember us getting married and Harry Gant. I was working for Harry Gant, right? I mean, it's like we couldn't go on a honeymoon because we had to go to race somewhere. So it's like, well, that's just part of it. But, it's, I mean, 50 years later, and here we are. I mean, just like you, I mean, you've been part of this for so long. God, I'd hate to think if we had to get a real job.
Oh my God, I couldn't handle it.
There ain't no way, man.
There's
no way. I couldn't do it.
Hey, Mike, I really do appreciate
buddy.
Catching up with you, but B, also kind of reminiscing. If you're a dinosaur, then I'm a dinosaur. And you know what? I'm proud, and I'm proud to be one.
You should be
proud to be one. So
yeah, it is so great talking to you, man.
And we'll do it again.
I got your number.
You got it.
I got your number. You call me anytime, okay?
You got it. Now see you in Daytona.
Yeah, it's an honor to talk to you, buddy. I'm proud to be your friend, okay?
And I am likewise with you. You are a very, very special person. You represent the very, very best in a sport that we both love. Mike, you take care. Good luck the rest of the year.
All right, Jack. Take care. Thank you, friend.
I promised you that I'd weigh in on Kurt Busch's decision to step away from racing full-time in Cup and examine his legacy in the sport we all love. I'll do that next.
Hey, car lovers. At Advance Auto Parts, we have what you need to keep your car running all season long. So if you enjoy getting ahead of the curve when it comes to taking care of your ride, Advance Auto Parts has everything to keep your ride on track to reach the victory lap. Because you can trust the team at Advance Auto Parts to assist you in finding what you need at the right price. Stop by Advance Auto Parts, where you're always number one.
This is how we advance.
I know I'm not 100% in my ability to go out and race at the top level of the NASCAR Cup Series. These are the best of the best drivers, and lately I haven't felt my best. The doctors have come to the conclusion that it's best for me to shut it down for this season. And even though I've made solid gains and I've been working with all the top specialists and the team at Toyota Performance Center. I'm still not 100%, and I'm still not cleared to race. As I continue to focus on my health towards being cleared, I'll be stepping away from full-time NASCAR Cup Series competition in 2023.
White flag. All right, he's already celebrating. Don't say anything yet. Get it all around here.
One lap to go, man. Looking awesome. Looking awesome. One to go.
Dale Earnhardt, Ernie Irvan, Elliott Sadler, Rusty Wallace, and now Kurt Busch is a first-time Winston Cup winner at Bristol.
Checkered flag is up. Greg Biffle wins the Ford 400 at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon finish second and third. It's not going to be enough. Kurt Busch is the 2004 NASCAR Next L Cup Series champion.
We did it. I'm going to come and get you by the end of pit road. Everybody come with me on the track and push me. Final time out of turn number 2. Jimmy Johnson dominated the day, but Kurt Busch is the man as they head for 3. It's Busch by a car length looking for the checkered flag.
Jimmy Johnson takes a peek downstairs, but it won't be enough. Across the stripe and winning the STP 500 is Kurt Busch.
Yeah, Gene called, talked to him on the phone, talked to him in victory lane, and thanked him for believing in me.
No fuel conservation now. It's mash the gas and make it roll. Larson the leader. Kurt Busch trying to go to the outside. Here comes Ryan Blaney. Blaney looking to go 3 wide up the middle. It's Kurt Busch to the lead on the backstretch.
Kurt Busch all by himself at the front of the field, but will he make it back around? Has 3 car lengths over Kyle Larson and A.J. Allmendinger. Off of turn 4, it's Kurt Busch looking for the checker.
Kurt Busch leads the Daytona 500. He's never won before in Daytona, a former series champion. He will fix that today, winning the 59th edition of the Great American Race.
This is the Daytona 500, and we won it. The race unfolded beautifully for us. I am the luckiest guy in the world to be standing here.
Here comes Kurt Busch, bottom of the racetrack, turns 3 and 4. Kurt Busch stands up on the throttle.
Kurt Busch leads by 2 car lengths as they fight their way back to the start-finish line. And Kurt Busch will win in his hometown as he takes the victory at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
This is, 20 years of this place kicking my butt. Leaving here in disgust and agony and frustrated and kicking the ground. It means so much to me to win here because of all the people, the family, friends, and the effort and everybody helps put into my career.
He's put the lap traffic behind him. He's put Kyle Larson behind him. He's put the field behind him. Kurt Busch, the leader.
Here he comes up off of turn number 4. Kurt Busch sees the checkered flag, and Kurt Busch wins the Advent Health 400 at Kansas Speedway. Kurt Busch will take Michael Jordan to victory lane in the Heartland.
An amazing day for 2311. Everybody that jumped on board to make this 45 team possible.
This isn't the end. This is a step in my future direction. So yeah, it is emotional to not run for a championship, but there's still more races to be raced.
You've been listening to Jackaroot's Wind Tunnel. Wind Tunnel is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts, the official auto parts retailer of NASCAR. Follow us on our social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And be sure to subscribe to Wind Tunnel's YouTube channel, where you'll discover bonus content. I'm Lenny Baticki of Performance Racing Network's At the Track Show, saying thank you for joining us today. See you again next week.